Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the United States, which is 10 a.m. in Australia or 1 a.m. if you're in the UK. Do remember, if you missed the live streams, you can catch up with the premiere event streams on a Friday and Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time in the US, which is 7 a.m. in Australia or 10 p.m. if you're in the UK. I hope all you guys and girls are well and that you had a good weekend. We're going to continue working on the Temple of the Winds 3D model that we're making in Eon View. We made the model in 3D Studio Max, we textured it up in Substance Painter, and now we're going to do the beauty renders in Eon View. And Mr. Squarepeg, it's good to see Mr. Squarepeg, and Lance, hi to you, and Sustaeum, I think it is. My apologies if I got that wrong. And Trevor, hi to you as well. Good to see you guys into chat nice and early. Do remember, if you've got any questions while I work, please feel free to pop into chat and ask me. If I can help you in any way, I'm happy to try. If you just want to pop in like these guys and say hello, that's always welcome. But if all you want to do is watch, that's completely fine. I get that. Like I said, lots of times I don't want to chat to the streamer, I just want to watch. So that's all good. Okay, so what are we doing? That's right. We are going to jump into Eon View, I think. So let's do that. And let's load up the model that we started working on last week. So I'm just going to pull up the recent files and we'll load the model in. Just give you a minute or two here to get itself organized and pull that model in. So last week we finished importing the model and we set up the PBR textures, so the physically based rendering textures. And today we're going to start creating the environment. Now, I want to try and get this project sort of finished today and tomorrow. I'm not sure about tomorrow, but anyway, we'll see how we go. So I'm not going to create an overly complex environment for it, but we'll make it pretty. It will be pretty, hopefully. So did you guys have a good weekend? Get up to anything interesting? Doing any 3D work, which I hope you are? Yes, tomorrow. We'll wait till the end of the stream. I'll see if I'll talk about the stream tomorrow. We'll see how we go. It's almost there. The viewer's trying to do something. I can see it. There we go. So this is the model we worked on last week, and this is the one we're going to continue working on today. We set up the textures, so it's all good and ready to go. You noticed last week the lines, when we brought them in, they were a little dark, and that was because I loaded up the wrong texture. I didn't load up the gamma corrector texture. But I fixed that, so the lines are back to their normal right color. All right. First things first, we need to bring in a ground plane, or we need to bring in a terrain. That's the word. We need to bring a terrain in. So to save some time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a terrain I've already made for, because I use Vue a lot for work anyway at the studio. I have like a library of pre-made ecosystems, which is what Eon call them. So I'm going to pull in one ecosystem I have pre-made. So let's start by loading an object, and we'll use this one here. This is just a small terrain, not very big. It's probably about maybe 6 by 600 meters, I guess, just enough basically to cover whatever it is I'm generally rendering in front of me in my screen. So if I just deselect that, and it's just basically all this terrain is two different types of grasses, one of the purple flowers, and then two different types of orange flower. And that's just to give it a bit more interest. So what I'll do is I'll just do a quick render here, and we can see what's going on. That should be fine. Even though Vue calls this a final render, that's not what other programs would call a final render. Generally, when you render something out properly, you'll go to either Broadcast, Superior, or Ultra. Ultra is really slow. I generally wouldn't recommend you use that unless you really, really, really want the best quality. Superior is generally the best one to use. Not as long as Ultra, but still gives you like 90% of the quality of Ultra, but about half the time to render. But for these quick renders, we're just going to use Final, which you could probably consider like a preview, I guess. It's not the best quality, but it's fast enough for us to get some idea of how the scene is going to look. And we'll render it 1920 by 1080 just for our previews, and let's have a look here. It's just preparing. You can't see it because my big fat body's in the way, but down in the corner here, it's just preparing the file before it starts rendering. There we go. So it's going to do an initial pass, and then it's going to do a second pass. So if it looks a little dark at this stage, not to worry, it will fix itself up. TwitchCon. Anyone been keeping up with what was going on at TwitchCon? They made quite a few different announcements, actually. Some of them are really cool. Actually, the one that I'm most excited about is OBS Studio. You guys know I use OBS to do my broadcasting. And NVIDIA have just announced in conjunction with OBS that they're going to be able to do virtual green screens now using the Tensor cores, I believe they're called, inside of the new RTX video card. So basically what that means for me is hopefully, as long as the quality is up to scratch, I won't have to put my green screen up every time I stream, because it can actually remove the background without a green screen, which is very cool, if it works the way they say it does. Now we're probably going to do the same trick we did with the last time we used Eon View to do a render. And we're going to put a backdrop in as opposed to me doing like mountains and stuff. I'll put a backdrop in. But we'll do that last, once we've got the rest of the environmental scene set up here. Any tweaks to lighting I always leave to the very end as well. Okay, lighting. I think now what I've done here is I've rotated the model into an interesting silhouette. So we're not rendering the model straight on, because that's not an interesting silhouette generally. So what I've done is just rotated the model off center a little bit. It just creates a more interesting looking silhouette. So it makes for a more interesting looking render. And this model would, because we put so much work into the texturing, would really benefit from nice close-up shots. But because I'm making these beauty renders to sell this model on my 3D store on the Creative Market and on my website, I need to do a render where people can see the actual object that they're going to be buying in full. So that's why we're doing this wider shot where we take the whole model in. And where are my moderators? Smoker Barbecue and Sniper Girl. Alright, so we have our grass, we've got our flowers. I think the purple flowers just help to give the will help to give the scene a little bit more colour, because the terrace itself is very, even though we added some colour on the columns and things, there's still a lot of browns and greys and yellows sort of, so the purple just helps to give it a bit more interest. Okay. Let's bring in something more now. Let's bring in a tree. Again, this is my library of stuff that I've created that I've used for other projects. Let's bring in maybe this juniper. They are different trees, by the way, even though they look very similar. Actually, probably this one looks a bit more interesting, I think. We're not going to overload the scene. We're going to keep it relatively simple. Okay, let's move our juniper tree into the background. Maybe something like I like to see the trees for a bit of the tree trunk. I like this overhanging branch. I'm just making sure it's not actually overhanging our model so we won't get any intersection or anything happening when we do our render. Alona Wolf. Well, hello, sir, to you as well. How are you, Alona Wolf? Did you have a good weekend? I hope you're well. Thanks for popping in and saying hi. So yes, we're just setting up our environment here for our render. So we have our tree, that's all good. I'm just trying to work out whether I want to bring the tree over or not. We'll put a couple more pieces in and then we'll decide. My apologies, you know I'm always being interrupted by work. I really should turn my email client off. Okay, let's bring in another plant. You're good to hear, Lona Wolf. What else do we want? We just want something in the background, so let's go with this ivy patch. It's just basically a couple of dead tree trunks covered in ivy, sort of making a bit of an interesting looking group. But we're only going to be using it in the background, so if I can find where it's put it. Where is it put it? There it is. Select the ivy, there we go. Move the ivy over. Yeah, I'm just not sure about tomorrow's stream because I've got a couple of meetings I have to go to in the studio. That's why I'm sort of keeping an eye on my email client over here while I work, just to find out if they actually want me to go in or not. I've also got a couple of personal things, chores and things I have to do. But I'll find out before the end of the stream whether I can stream tomorrow. I've told them they've got to get back to me and let me know. Alona Wolf says, made a little progress on a mech model. Cool, mech model. Hung out on Twitch. Good weekend all together. Well, that's good to hear. And it's always good when you make progress on a model. It's very cool. I like to hear you guys and girls are modeling. Because you guys know that's why I'm on Twitch. I want you guys to do stuff, and I love checking out the work that you guys make as well. I am not just here to do my own thing. Let's just deselect that so I can get an idea in the viewport what that's doing. Come on, view. You can do it, view. Come on, view. You can do it, view. You can't do it, view. We can look over here. We can see over on the right-hand side there's a preview. Yep. Oh, there we go. The viewport finally refreshed. That's okay. All I'm looking for here is just to block out a bit of the background here where our horizon line is. So that should work for what we want. And in fact, it works so well. Let's duplicate it. And bring one over to the other side. And we're just going to rotate it a bit as well so that people don't know that we're reusing the same asset again. And which they won't if we rotate this around into a different direction. Maybe like that. And pull out. And move it over this side. I know what I want to do. You see this area here where it's basically empty? That's where I want to place these objects to fill in that area. That's just because the landscape, when I created it, has a bit of a dip in it. It goes down to the 0 coordinate system, so it actually basically removes that part of the landscape. Crosswind says, what's up? What's up with you, Crosswind? It's good to see you. How are you? Did you have a good weekend? You know I always ask every time after the weekend. I want to know if you guys had a good weekend. Hopefully you did. Okay, so let's just deselect that so I can have a look in the viewport here. Okay, that should be okay. In fact, let's just do a quick save because, you know, computers and crashes and all that sort of thing. You never know. And View, I think, saved that out relatively quickly, which is good. You guys found that Chrome, the new version of Chrome, has been really buggy? At least for me it has. I mean, I have Chrome, Firefox and Microsoft Edge installed on the machine. I generally use Chrome, but the new version of Chrome that Google released a week or two ago, I found it's really buggy. Crosswind says wasn't too bad. Nice scene too. This is all photogrammetry stuff. Sort of. Okay, photogrammetry. What is photogrammetry in this model is this statue at the front here and these decorative pieces and the dome. So the bits underneath of here and here on the corners and the actual dome, that's photogrammetry. The rest of it we actually modelled up and textured by hand, and the tree is actually a speed tree that I've imported into Eon View. And these are all 3D models that come with View, the flowers and the grass. Actually the grass I think comes from Hazel Effects from memory. So it's a combination of photogrammetry and stuff we modelled by hand and stuff we textured by hand, and plants that come with either View or Speed Tree. Alona Wolf says Control S. Control save. Well, you're talking about saving, aren't you, Alona Wolf? To save a file. Alona Wolf says Chrome has been strange. Yeah, it has. It's been really weird. Chrome has been misbehaving. Misbehaving, I say. Anyway, that's why I've got Firefox installed just in case. And sometimes I'll use Microsoft Edge, but I prefer to use either Firefox or Chrome. So I'm glad it's not just me, Alona Wolf. Alona Wolf says randomly stalling. Yeah, that's what I found too. It does. Like if you say you've got a web page open, maybe YouTube, and you minimise the browser because you want to get your work on your desktop, for a little while and you maximize your browser again, Chrome has crashed. You've got to reload the page. Thank you, Emmett, for hosting the channel. Emmett the Geek, thank you very much for the host. I do appreciate it when you host me, guys, so thank you, Emmett. Yeah, I found that when you maximize Chrome again, the page has crashed. And yeah, also like YouTube videos will sometimes flash green when they first start, all that sort of stuff. Hat jams. Emmy the Geek, did I say Greek? My apologies. And Zamaka, thank you for following the channel, Zamaka. I do appreciate it when you follow me as well. It's a great way to get notifications. When I go live is to follow my Twitch channel. So thank you for the follow, Zamaka. And Emmy the Geek, thank you for the host as well. And Hat Jams. Why do I keep saying James? Hat Jams. Hi to you as well. Excalibur says, howdy Excalibur, how are you? How have you been? Emmy the Geek says, just dropping some guys off from my stream. Well, thank you, Emmy the Geek. I do appreciate the host and I appreciate the raid. So thank you very much. What do you do, Emmy? What do you do on Twitch? What sort of streams do you stream? Excalibur says, I'm well at work. Emmy has been showing all her 3D modeling skills. Cool. Another 3D person. Good to hear. You can't say no problems. 1:15 a.m. Well, thank you, Emmy. I do appreciate the host and the raid. And it's good to hear there's another 3D person on Twitch streaming. You were streaming sculpts. Oh, okay, cool. I must check your channel out. Excalibur says she asked where we wanted to go and she mentioned photogrammetry, and this is something I'm just now getting into. Well, the model you see in front of you here was partly created using photogrammetry. This entire project that I've been working on was doing the photogrammetry for parts of this model, taking that photogrammetry and creating a completely new model, which is what you see in front of you here. And now we're at the stage where texturing it up in Substance Painter, of course. And now we're at the stage where we're doing a 3D environment in Eon View. So if you've got any questions, Excalibur, about photogrammetry, shoot them at me and I'll see if I can answer them for you, because the studio I work for, because I used to work in games development, then I worked in film, now I work in ArchViz, and the studio I work for, I specialise in photogrammetry. Because basically what the ArchViz studio does is we get a lot of contract work from the government, and government departments like to set up offices in period buildings, but period buildings are never really designed for a modern office. So what generally happens is they have to keep the facade because it's period listed, but they can destroy the back of the building and then they build a modern extension in. So my job is basically doing photogrammetry of the original facade so that the architects can then design a modern extension to the back of it. So, Excalibur is asking me, have you heard of the Display iOS app? No. Again, I'm not an Apple person. I'm an Android person and a PC person. So it's Windows and Android for me. So no, I haven't heard of Display iOS app. Having said that, I do have an iPhone actually. That's my second phone, not as my first phone, an old iPhone. I basically use it just to play music in my bathroom now when I have a shower via Bluetooth. So basically the phone's Bluetooth to my speaker in my bathroom so I can hear music. That's the only thing I use my iPhone for now. My old iPhone. It's like an iPhone 5 or something, I think. But no, I haven't heard of the program. Hot Jams says, View is the massive world gen, right? I remember hearing about it while in school. Yes, it is, Hot Jams. It is, for anyone that wants to know. Let me just open up my browser and we can check it out. So if you go to Google and you type EON space VUE, so Eon View, their homepage is the very first link, and it's the environment software. So basically, what it does is you use it to create environments. It's used in film quite a lot. So yeah, it's good software. We use it at the studio. when we have to do beauty renders for our clients. They also have their own tree making software, but I use SpeedTree to do my trees, and the studio I work at, we use SpeedTree. But you can check out their, you can try it or buy it. It's on a subscription model like everything now, but you can download what they call the Personal Learning Edition, and it's completely free. I'm not sure what the restrictions are with the Personal Learning Edition, so you'd have to look that up. There are restrictions, but I'm just not sure what they are. Or like I said, you can actually lease it, subscribe, rent it like you can with Adobe software and all that sort of stuff. Check the software out. It integrates with 3D Studio Max if you want to work in Max or Maya or Cinema 4D. You can integrate it directly into those programs. It also comes as a standalone program, which is what you see here in front of me. I'm using the standalone version. So long story, yes, hot jams, that it is. It's the massive world generation, yep. Excalibur says display is a photogrammetry app. Apparently, I have it now, but I haven't even had a chance to use the app. Wanted to learn more about it first. Yeah, no, I don't generally do photogrammetry on my phone. Having said that, you can. I usually use a DSLR camera, or we use a drone. The studio, that is. I don't own a drone, but the studio have a couple. And the studio uses a piece of photogrammetry software called Context Capture, made by Bentley Software, who are the same people, by the way, that own Eon View now, Bentley. So the studio uses Context Capture. I personally use Reality Capture for my own stuff. And I've also used Agisoft Metascan, what is it called? Hang on. Where are we? Metashape. Agisoft Metashape. It's the cheapest if you want to buy 3D photogrammetry software for the PC. Agisoft Metashape is the cheapest photogrammetry software. Context Capture is incredibly expensive, but the studio wants to use it, so I use it because they want to use it. And I use actually Reality Capture because it's the fastest. It actually uses the GPU to actually do the calculation, so it's much faster than the other two. But you can use your phone. You can even use your phone to take pictures for photogrammetry, provided the camera in the phone is at least 8 megapixel or better. The higher the megapixel of the camera, the better the photogrammetry result, generally. Emmy the Geek says, right, really wish I could stay but need sleep. Have a good stream. Thank you, Emmy, and I will try and check your stream out as well. Thank you again for the host. Sniper Girl, it's good to see you, Sniper Girl. Hi to you as well. Excalibur says, I'm looking at the job market. I've seen a few positions with the job title LVC, Live Virtual Construction, which sounds like they use photogrammetry to help build virtual worlds for games exercises. Have you ever heard of something like that? No, I haven't. That's new. Live virtual construction. Companies come up with these terms quite a lot. No, I haven't heard of it, but that could just be the way that they choose to describe a specific type of work that they want done. LVC, it's new to me. Yeah, live virtual construction. It could be anything, really, though. But just saying that they use photogrammetry to help build virtual worlds for games. We're actually going to be working on a game when we finish this project. Because the other studio I'm working with, we're making a game in UE4 that we're going to be releasing on Steam and on the Epic Game Store. And I'm going to be doing parts of the development of that game live on Twitch as part of my regular streams. Selfless One says, found you online. Yes, you did, Selfless One. It's good to see you. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good weekend too. Selfless One says, Alice Vision for Houdini. Yeah, Alice Vision is completely free. It's open source photogrammetry software. So if you are using a PC and you don't want to spend any money, if you want to do 3D, use Blender. It's completely free. And if you want to do photogrammetry, use Alice Vision, as Selfless One says. I have mentioned it on stream before here, and this is their website here, alicevision.org. You can download the software completely free. It's a photogrammetry pipeline. I know that Smurfberry Barbecue, who is one of my moderators on the channel here, he's used it. He says it's good. Another moderator of mine, Sniper Echo, he's used it. He says it's good. So you can download it from alicevision.org. Open source, completely free. Download it and play around with it, because photogrammetry is really fun. It can save you a lot of time as well if you're working and you need to speed up your workflow and you need realistic looking models. It can save you a huge amount of time doing photogrammetry. Not to mention you get nice models. Sniper Girl says, how are you? I'm good, Sniper Girl. Thanks for asking. Yes, no, I'm good. I was just saying to the guys, I don't know if I can stream tomorrow. I'll find out from work. That's before the end of the stream. They'll email me and tell me if they need me to come in for these meetings or not. And I'll let you guys know before the stream's finished today. But I'm good apart from that. Alona Wolf says hi. Selfless One says hello. Excalibur says, are you ever on Photogrammetry subreddit? No, I didn't actually realise there was a Photogrammetry subreddit, Excalibur. I will join the subreddit though after the stream, because I've got a Reddit account. I go to Reddit at least a couple of times a week to look at the Twitch stuff and the 3D Studio Max Reddit and all that sort of stuff, so I'll check it out. Aluna Wolf says, I watched a bit of an artist that I followed on YouTube who photo scanned a mountain with his drone. He photo scanned an entire mountain. Wow. That's impressive. Must have taken him a while with a lot of photos. There's so many cool things you can do with photogrammetry. There really are. Let's look. You know, part of this model here is photogrammetry. The rest of it I designed. So let me just pull up one of the photos that we used for the photogrammetry so you can see the difference between what was the original photogrammetry object and what we are working with now that we've created. So I'm just going to find where I put this one. Let me just get a shot here that's a bit of a distance away so we can get a good look at this one will do. Okay, so this is what the original object looked like. Let me just minimize that, close these down so we can jump between the two and compare. Because I wanted to do this project on Twitch because I get a lot of people saying, oh, is photogrammetry going to take my job? If I become a 3D person, what's the point? Because photogrammetry, they'll be able to get models that way, which is true. And that's why I say to you, don't just rely on the photogrammetry model. Turn the model into something completely new, because being creative is something a machine can never do. So AI will never be creative, not in our lifetime anyway. So I wanted to do this project to show you how you could take a model that you photographed and using photogrammetry, and then convert that into something completely new and interesting using your mind and your creative skills. So that on the right there is the original photo, and you see our model here in front of us. So that's the best way to make sure you stay employable. Don't just rely on the photogrammetry model, because eventually AI will be able to do that automatically anyway. But AI won't be able to create something new like we have here. So I just wanted to do that comparison so you guys can see the difference between the original and now what we've actually created. Alona Wolf says, Excalibur says, where would you suggest going to learn more about it? Well, the Reddit will be a good spot to actually ask questions. The subreddit and Reddit. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about photogrammetry. A lot of people are doing it now. So I think YouTube, you could probably find a lot of interesting information. Excalibur. Alona Excalibur says, wow, you're a wealth of information. Thank you so much for your time and input so quickly. No problem. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you guys if I can, and to chat to you guys, and to look at the work that you guys are doing as well. Do remember, don't post links in my Twitch chat unless you're a sub to my channel, because you'll get timed out. But everyone can post links on my Discord server, the Phil Does 3D Discord. I've just popped the link into chat there. If you want to join the Discord, click that link. You can get an invite that way. And you can show your work In the gallery on the Discord server, there's a place where you can link to your ArtStation or your portfolio as well. Tutorials and tips section there, which you might want to check out. It's got a lot of interesting stuff in it, not just photogrammetry, but a lot of interesting tutorials that the users have posted over the years. Yes, and I will thank you as well, Excalibur, for following me on Twitch. I do appreciate it. So thanks for the follow, Excalibur. You're excited to follow you? I'm excited to follow me as well. Thank you. Excalibur says, and you added everything else. Sniper Girl says, are you feeling okay? Why? Why do you ask, Sniper Girl? Selfless One says, photogrammetry, then retopology, then retopologize it, make it the photogrammetry texture. Onto the new model is my workflow. That's a good workflow. Some photogrammetry software, Selfless One, you can actually import a lower poly 3D model and get it to project your texture back down that way as well. So, you use your photogrammetry to get your high-res model if you want, but you can also then import a low-res version of that back into the photogrammetry software and get it to reproject your textures. If you don't want to do it in your 3D software, but you can do it in the 3D software as well. Sniper Girl says to Excalibur, here's a photogrammetry playlist I created on YouTube. Well, there you go. Can't get better than that. Thanks, Sniper Girl. Sniper Girl's done some nice photogrammetry work as well. Again, check out the gallery on the Phildas 3D Discord server because she posted images of the photogrammetry stuff she did as well. And Smurper Barbecue, he's also posted some photogrammetry stuff in the Discord gallery. So, Sniper Girl says, sound kind of congested. Figured I'd ask. No, I'm fine. Is my audio okay though? Are there any problems with my audio, guys? Because I've just moved things around as far as USB ports go on my streaming machine. I might, but if you're saying I just sound a bit congested, maybe I am. So long as my audio is clear. Is my audio clear? Because I never know once I've moved things around if my audio is okay. Because, PCs. Snowbiggle says to Excalibur, you're welcome. Excalibur says your audio is a tiny bit muffled, but it's probably the congestion. I'll listen to my stream back after the stream to check to make sure that that my mic is behaving itself properly. Everything looks fine. I don't see any errors, but I don't listen to myself while I stream, so I'll wait till after the stream and I'll check it out. Shouldn't be muffled, but you never know, because like I said, I've moved things around. So Crosswind says, I can hear you fine, but it sounds like there might be a bit of feedback going on. Okay. Again, shouldn't be feedback, but I will double check after the stream. Sniper Girl says you're using your phone for photogrammetry. Yes, I think Excalibur is. So let's keep going here. So we've got our couple of plants in. Let's just do another quick render and have a look. Yes, thank you, Twitch. I know. Yes, thank you, Twitch. Nice. Excalibur's just saying what equipment he has access to. Very cool. Yeah, we tend to use drones a little bit now for photogrammetry work as well, because as well as doing government architectural work, the studio also do stuff for mining companies in this country, and we use the drones a lot when we're doing photogrammetry work for mining companies. It's always the fun part when you're using Vue, just waiting for it to do its little render out. It gives me a chance to have a copy though. Yeah, no, I rearranged my computer systems. I swapped out an old monitor for a new one. And I thought while I did that, I might as well swap everything else around on both systems. So that's why my audio is now going through a different USB port. but I might be a little bit, I am a little bit stuffy, so long as the audio is clear, though, like I said, I'll check it after the stream, I'll listen to it. Because I'm paranoid about my audio. Must make sure audio is good. If you're streaming on Twitch, you don't want people having to put up with really bad audio. Puts people off incredibly quickly. Sniper Girl uses her phone and she's got some really nice results from it. So don't think that you can't use a phone so long as the camera in your phone is decent enough quality. It doesn't have to be amazing, but it can't be really bad. Mirrorless cameras are the way to go. They're very expensive, at least in my country, in Australia. You're looking at least a couple of $1,000s to buy a mirrorless camera in this country. I think it's probably cheaper in the US though. Leonard Wolf says, would a 7 Plus camera work? Yes. You're starting to push it. Like I say, 8 megapixel is probably minimum. 7 megapixel, as long as you're not trying to do something huge. So with smaller objects, you should be okay because you can get in close enough to them. A big object like a building, you might start to have problems because the resolution's not quite there. But certainly smaller objects that you can get close up to, you should be okay with a 7 megapixel. But I'd really recommend 8 megapixel or better to do photogrammetry. But try it. What have you got to lose? You've got your 7 megapixel in your phone or whatever it is, and take some pictures and give it a go. Use Alice Vision, which is completely free to download, and see what you get. Can't hurt. It's free. You got your phone. You got the free software. Give it a go. Sniper Girl says, not sure. I have a Galaxy S6 and that's what I use. Excalibur says, why would a mirrorless be ideal? Any DSLR or any good phone camera will be fine. It does not have to be mirrorless. Mirrorless cameras, though, are the in thing at the moment. They give you good results. There's no what's the word? I want to say interference, but that's not the word. Sometimes when you use a DSLR, if the lighting isn't correct, you can get like pixelation, or it's not even pixelation. I can't remember the word, but you don't have that with a mirrorless. There is no distortion in the image. There's no fuzz. I don't know what the word is. I can't remember it at the moment. But that's the only reason a mirrorless is ideal, because you don't get this distortion in the actual photo. Sniper Girl says, faster, better, shutter speed, lighter as well. That's true too. Noise, grain. That's it, grain. Thank you, Excalibur. Phil's whole brain. Noise, yes. You won't get the noise in an image that you can get with a normal DSLR. It's one of the advantages of a mirrorless camera. Plus, for the reasons Sniper Girl suggests, it's faster, shutter speed, and it's lighter. Not that DSLRs are heavy now anyway, they're pretty light. Unless you've got some huge photo telescopic lens or something attached to it, they're generally pretty light. And don't use a telescopic lens if you're doing photogrammetry. You don't want to do any zooms. You want to keep the camera at default settings for all your pictures, because if you start zooming in, you can start the triangulation stage of photogrammetry will get messed up. So don't use a zoom. Selfless One says chromatic aberration. Well, yes, that too. Excalibur says, that comes down to how high you're pushing your ISO. Yep, that's true. Plus, a full frame sensor, such as an SD Mark II, 3 or 4, will have less noise than a smaller sensor. Very true as well. Excalibur says to Selfless One, chromatic aberration comes from the quality of your lens, not the body sensor. That's true as well. So yes, you can use fisheye lenses and things to do photogrammetry, that's fine, but don't do any zooming. Excalibur says, I'm over here like, yay, stuff I know about. I'll sit back and say, no, you feel free, Excalibur. It's not a problem. The guys will tell you I'm a real motor mouth anyway most of the time, so it's hard to shut me up. So, what can we talk about while it's rendering? So yeah, just any good camera that will be fine. It does not have to be mirrorless. I would suggest 8 megapixel at least though, because otherwise you're not going to get good enough shots. See, the worse the megapixel count, the harder it is for the photogrammetry software to triangulate and then give you a good result. You're going to get like either a bad looking textures or a fuzzy looking model. Android Lust, it's good to see you, Android Lust. How are you? I hope you had a good weekend, buddy. Excalibur says, howdy. Sniper Girl says, yep, can't keep Phil Dust. That's right, you can't keep me quiet. He gets to the point that he should be called Phil Does Just Chat. That's exactly right. Can't shut me up. Supless One says hello. Sniper Girl says hello. Andrew Lust says it's me, or does Phil sound too? Yes, everybody said that. It must be. I have moved my microphone to a different slot, a USB slot, and I'm going to have to listen to it back after the stream to see what's going on. You're not the only person that has said that. I'll listen to my stream after the stream. I did do a couple of quick tests and I didn't think it sounded different, but I will have to double check. Always the way, move things around and, have problems. So I will check it after the stream because a few people have said it and I want to check it myself. Excalibur says, I heard that some many photogrammetry-based computers need to have a load of RAM, such as 64 gig or much more. You mentioned using your GPU to do the work. That's right. Is that a particular software that does that? And what GPU do you have? It is particular software. It's software called Reality Capture. Reality Capture. It's software you can either rent or buy. So it's capturingreality.com is the website address. But the software is called Reality Capture, just to make things even more confusing. So capturingreality.com is what I use, and it uses the GPU. So it's incredibly fast to do photogrammetry. This is new. Unlimited usage, unlimited input, fully featured. Process. Oh, hang on. Designed for everybody, licensure input, free unlimited process. This is something online, I think, not the software that you download. But yes, you can check it out on their website, capturingreality.com. And I was using a DTX 1080 Ti. Now I'm using a GTX 2080. An RTX 2080 to do the capture. It's the fastest software I have used for doing photogrammetry. It's incredibly fast. Oh, pay per input. This is something different. I've not looked at that, but you can actually purchase the software. I believe you can rent it as well. Oh, here we go. So that's a PPI license, which means you don't own the software. None of these you actually own the software, you rent it. So it is good, I do recommend it. And Sniper Girl uses it as well. Andrew Lust says it sounds extremely different. Funny, actually. I'll have to listen to this back because you've got me paranoid now. I don't think it's going... No, it's not going through my headphones. No. I can't listen to it because I don't monitor my stream while I stream. So I'll have to listen to it after the stream to find out what's going on. Sorry about that, guys. Sniper Girl says to Excalibur, I only have 15 gig of RAM. I've got 32 gig of RAM, and I find that that's generally enough for me. I don't need more than 32 gig to do my work. I don't generally run out of RAM. but I use reality capture, which uses the GPU. Surplus One says, I hear clicking static, but thought it was my net. Okay, well, I'll check this out after the stream. Because, yeah, I was using a separate USB PCI card. Now I'm using the ones actually attached to the motherboard again. So I'll check it out. I'll check it all out after the stream, see what's going on. Because I don't want clicking and I don't want muffled audio, so I'll check it out. Sniper Girl says, I also use reality capture. Excalibur says, I have a GTX 1080. It's akin to what you have. And what type of speed differences are we talking about compared to having $500 of RAM in a computer? Okay, let's use an example. I generally find that you can create the model in half the time at least by other software. It probably uses about half as much RAM as other software because it uses the GPU. A 1080 will get you good speed. So like I said, I was using a 1080 Ti initially, and it was very fast. And now I'm using an RTX 2080. Android Lost says it's so slightly head static, but it really sounds like Phil is in a hallway with a deep voice. I'll check it out after the stream. I'm looking, because I run all my audio through Adobe Audition before I send it out to you guys. And it looks okay, although it may be that Audition has pushed up the audio a bit by the look of it. So I think it might be popping out more audio than it should, louder than it should be, I think. But I'll check all that after the stream. I can't do it live, it'll be too interrupting to everyone. Thanks for bringing it to my attention though, because there's nothing worse than if you're a streamer and something is wrong with your stream and people don't tell you. So thanks guys, I'll check it out after the stream. Excalibur says, you have a 2080 Ti that's got some not a Ti, I've got a 28, an RTX 2080. I went from a 1080 Ti to an RTX 2080. Sniper Girl says, I still have an old 960, will be fine with a 1080. 1080 is fine. Android Lost says, the render is looking juicy, can't wait to see a full resolution. No, neither can I, can't wait, we haven't finished it yet, we're still going to be working on it. Bill does just chat, not doing his 3D. Excalibur says, I'm at work, I really need to make a phone call, but I can't look away from this awesome stream. Oh, that's so nice, Excalibur. Sniper Girl says, couldn't have described it any better. Slightly head static. Sounds like Bill is in a hallway with a deeper voice. I'll check it out. I'll check it out after the stream. I'll see if I can't play around. Is there any static going on though, or is it just the audio sounds a bit muffled and deep? Anyway, I will check it out after the stream. I like the opposite of breathing in helium, so I'm sounding really deep, okay. Excalibur says, can you pause your music so we can get a clear of your... Yes, I can. Hang on. That's interesting. I wonder if OBS is playing up because my pause button, my hotkey for my pause is not working. Let me pause the music manually. It seems, yeah, I'm just going to throw the Be Right Back screen up because I want to check if my keypad is working correctly or not. I'm going to come straight back, but I'm just going to check. No, my hotkeys are not working, which is interesting because my keypad here is plugged into the same port as my microphone. So that is interesting. Okay. Well, a bit of a pattern. It looks like one of the USB ports on my machine is malfunctioning. Might be malfunctioning, I think. Excalibur says, I did notice it was quite loud when I joined your audio. Yeah, there's something weird going on because the keypad I use to do my transitions on stream has is not working. It's plugged into the same port as my mic. So I'm going to have to check that out after the stream. There's something weird going on. I'm going to have to do everything with the mouse. How annoying. Andrew says, yeah, there's a clicking noise in your voice from it, but I was able to lower the stream volume, so it's non-issue. There are clicks on your vocals. Okay, that's not good. I don't want clicks. Like you're peaking. We still are here. Oh, good. I will check it out after the stream. It does look like... hang on. Wait. Oh. Sorry about that. Is that any better at all, or is it still the same? Well, let me know. Yeah, no, I will check it out after the stream. I know that there's a problem with the USB port because my keypad has stopped working, so... Still deep, yeah. Throw that Be Right Back screen up and toy around with it. I'm going to hop on a call for work and be back in a bit, but I'll be keeping your stream up all night. Yeah, we still do. Okay, yeah. Should I do it now while I'm live? Should I tempt fate and try and screw around with it while live? It's always a good idea, isn't it? But I would like to have my keypad working again. It's got to be a problem with the USB port. I'm going to have to move it to another port, I think. What do you guys want me to do? Do you want me to try and mess around with it while I'm live, or do it after? Made a clip, Sniper Girl says. Thank you very much. I'll check that out after the stream as well. Thank you, Sniper Girl. You're as bad as Sniper Echo. We'll do it live. Might as well do it while you have a captive audience. Android Lust says, well, I'm happy you're not sick. No, I'm not. That's called Sniper Girl asked if I was sick. When I first joined, I thought you were, but you didn't seem sick. No, I'm not. I'm not sick at all. I'm just going to unplug the mic and plug it back in again, all right? Just a sec. I'll throw up the Be Right Back screen. I'll be back in a minute. Oh, no, now it's working. Hang on. Now my keypad is working. So I don't know what's going on. Is the audio any better, or is it still as bad? Because, yeah, no, my keypad has started working again, which tells me that there's some sort of problem with one of my USB ports here. Same, okay. Yeah, it looks like it's peaking to me as well, but I'm more concerned with why my keypad stopped working. That tells me there's some sort of problem going on with the USB port. Everything else should be identical. I'll just double check my audio hardware in OBS, in Audition. I might as well do it while I'm still live, instead of you guys looking at a Be Right Back screen. Yeti mic, that's fine. Line 1, virtual audio, that's fine. That should all be fine. Nothing there has changed. We might just have to push through. I'll check it out after the stream. Excalibur says if you change the location of your mic, it's probably set to too high sensitivity due to the mic's location. You can lower the volume within slobs or OBS. Yes, I'll do that temporarily. I'll knock back the volume in OBS. Is that any better, guys? How does that sound? I've actually pulled back on the volume level in OBS itself. USB 3 selfless one. That sounds better, Excalibur says. Yeah, no, I'm using USB 3, an Intel USB 3 port on my machine, on my streaming machine. Might just pull it up just a little bit. So yeah, USB 3. Keep going. Yeah. What percentage are you at volume-wise, Excalibur says? I'm in OBS, I'm minus 4.5 decibel for the mic now. I was at 0 decibel before, now I'm at minus 4.5. You want me to go minus 10? That's going to make it very soft. I like to go just into the red. Let me pull it back a little bit more. I'm at minus 6 now. Testing 1, 2, 3. How is that sounding? Is that sounding any better or worse? It's better, not peaking. Okay. So you guys can hear me and there is no distortion or clicking or peaking? Let me know how it sounds. But I still want to know why my keypad stopped working. That's not right. It tells me that there's something wrong going on with the USB port, because that's the same port that I've got my mic plugged into. There's still the occasion. Excalibur says at the beginning and end of your words. Sniper Girl says still sounds lower pitch on my end. Android R says, but I think you still sound deeper, just slightly. Yeah, there's a problem with the USB port. I'm sure there is, for 1.5 seconds. All right, let me have a look for a sec. Excuse me for 2 seconds. Okay, guys, is that any better or worse? Is that any better or is that worse? Way better? Better? Cool. Okay. What I've done is I've moved the microphone to a different USB port on the machine. Way better? Good to hear. My apologies, guys. It's perfect. Good. No more deep voice. Good. It must be a problem with my one of my USB ports. Sometimes you actually sound Australian now. Okay, well, glad we worked it out. Actually, it was a good idea. I think it was you, Excalibur, that suggested I do it live on stream so I could get the feedback, the live feedback. I just want to make sure that there's no clicking or anything happening and I sound good. I'm back. My apologies, guys, that we spent the first half of the stream with our bad audio. Definitely glad you got it working again. Me as well. There's nothing worse than having bad audio, particularly if you're a streamer. Like I said, puts people off immediately. No one wants to listen to some guy that sounds dreadful. And is it Metaverson? Thank you for following the channel. I'm surprised you wanted to with my terrible audio. The chat is super helpful. I agree. Already a new favourite stream? Well, thank you, Excalibur. I'm glad you like the stream and welcome to Phil Does 3D. We're a very friendly community of artists here. We all support each other. Everybody is welcome. And I'm happy you like the stream. And again, my apologies for having the bad audio, guys. Yes, chat are good. They're a good group of guys and girls. A Selfless One says, what type of rendering are we looking at? What type of rendering? What do you mean, Selfless One? Explain what you mean, what type of rendering. I'm just not sure what you mean. My phone is going off in the background. Android Lust says, yeah, because your audio is normally I know. I try and make everything perfect for you guys. I always try and make sure my camera is perfect. My audio is perfect. I always make sure I start my stream at the same time. You know, all these things that are just nice to do if you're a streamer or you're watching a streamer. You want them to always be on time and all that sort of stuff. I always stream on the same days, all that sort of thing. My schedule is never usually changing, so I do try for you guys. I try. Sniper Girl says, we're often in Discord. Yes, they are, and I am, having everything from people that like hard surface work to people that like characters and environments, like Ito. He's a character artist. Should be able to help you out. If you have problems, yes, Sniper Girl is completely correct. Do join the Phil Does 3D Discord server. If you haven't, there's again the link I've just popped into chat. If you're watching my stream back on a Friday or Saturday, which are repeats of my Monday and Tuesday stream on Twitch, you can always join the Discord server by looking in my panels below my stream. There's a little blue graphic that says join the Phil Does 3D Discord. Click on that graphic. Selfless One says, you got a new RTX, are you using ray tracing or OpenGL or something else? This is ray tracing because I'm using Eon View. I'm going to be using real-time ray tracing in UE4 probably next week when we start working on the game that I'm working on with the other studio. Because I'm going to start live streaming the development of parts of the game that we're releasing. And that will use ray tracing, but I don't know if I'll turn it on while I'm streaming because there's a lot of tweaks that need to go into ray tracing. So probably while I'm working on the level, I won't have it turned on. I may turn it on occasionally so you guys can see it, what it looks like with ray tracing. But yeah, there are contract agreements and things, so I'm not sure if I can actually have ray tracing on while I'm actually streaming. As part of the contracting work, we want to leave it to like a big reveal for ray tracing. It's complicated. We'll see how we go, but you'll certainly see the level in UE4. Excalibur says, are you using reality capture here on stream? Is that what we're seeing? No, I'm using Eon View. What you see behind me is Eon View. It's a 3D environment program. I did show reality capture live on stream when we first started this project. All of my previous streams and videos are on my YouTube channel. So you can, again, if you look in the panels below my stream, you can find out my YouTube channel, or you can type, I believe, I don't use commands very much. I think it's !YouTube, I think. Yes. There you go. So there are a couple of commands for my Twitter, for my YouTube, for my ArtStation, I believe. You can type into chat to get links to my YouTube. So there is a video under the photogrammetry section on my YouTube channel about showing me using reality capture, showing the difference between context capture, reality capture, and Aggie-Sop Metashape. I did a comparison between the three. So you can also check the video section of my Twitch page here. It'll be in there as well somewhere, because all of my previous streams are also on Twitch. I'm just putting my music back on again, unless you guys would rather I didn't have the music going. Excalibur says, so this is view 1, so that you can build the world. This is the view 1, yes, that's right. So this is Eon View, so that we can create our 3D world here. And so I can do some beauty renders, so I can sell this model on my 3D store. So yes, we're using Eon View at the moment to do the beauty, so to set up the 3D environment to do the beauty renders. Excalibur says, so no ray tracing because it'll just look too dang good. Yeah, no, I can't go into details. Only to say that the studio that I'm working with, the studio I'm working with to make the game, we have a contractual agreement with another company. And I don't believe we can actually show ray tracing until it's ready to be revealed as ray traced. It is mentioned on the website for the game. So if you go to actually the game's website, which is if you want to know more about me, you can go to phildoes3d.com. That's my address, well, my website. You can look at my past work. You can get links to my social media, all that sort of stuff. But actually on the game's website, which is thehouseintthehollow.com, that's the name of the game, The House in the Hollow, which is this game here. We do mention it in the latest news section that we're going to be introducing real-time ray tracing. We just can't really talk about it at the moment. We can't show it. So I probably won't have it turned on when we're working with the game on stream. Yeah, because it hasn't officially been revealed yet, so there's that. We'll get to see the game, just probably not with real-time ray tracing turned on while I'm live streaming. But the game will have real-time ray tracing if you want to turn it on. You don't have to. If you don't have an RTX card, you can still play the game without an RTX card. You just won't have real-time ray tracing. Smurfberry Barbecue, it's good to see you, Smurfberry. Says, ooh, flowers, that's right. And just for you, Smurfberry, I'll pull up the last render we did because we're still working on our environment. Excalibur says, say no more. Excalibur says, do you ever work on VR stuff? No, I don't, actually. I don't do any VR work at all. Sorry. My phone just went off before. I'm just going to go and grab it. I know that's really rude, and my apologies. I'll be back. That's okay. All right, it's all good. Android Lust says, so I have to buy a 2080 before the game is released. You don't have to, Android Lust. You can play it on anything. We haven't actually made the coming soon Steam store page live yet, but it's all sort of set up and ready to go. And I believe the minimum requirements for the game are going to be a GTX 980. So anything, as long as you have a GTX 980 or higher, you should be fine. We had to set the minimum quite high because the game is quite full on. Like as far as the environment goes, there's a lot. It's very detailed. It's a detailed environment. So, and we wanted to make sure people that do buy it and want to play it have a good time. So you know you don't need a 2080 unless you want RTX, in which case you'll need at least a 2060 if you want to turn RTX on. Android Lust says, how's it going? Smurper is installing Linux. Wow, there you go. It's not fun. I thought Linux was cool. I thought everyone loved Linux. I thought Linux was easy to install. You're lucky you weren't here for the first half of the stream. My audio apparently was completely terrible and I didn't know. I was telling the guys I changed my USB ports around that I plug my mic into, and apparently it was not good. So anyway, do you guys want me to increase the volume level again now that the audio is back to normal? Because I'm still at -1 decibel. I normally set it at 0 decibel. You tell me if you want me a bit louder or not. Excalibur says, how long have you been doing photogrammetry and what got you into it? I have been doing photogrammetry for about 7 years, maybe 8 years now. What got me into it originally? Well, I used to work in film, and it's used in film. It's been used in film for a long, long time. It's only now starting to be used in games as well. We're going to be taking this model into the game as well because I want to set up a game location environment using this model inside the game. So at some stage we will be taking this model into UE4 to make an environment in UE4 for it as well, a separate spot for players to explore aside from the main manor house. So originally, I got into it, I guess, because I used to work in film and it's used a lot in film. And I was just curious. So I wanted to start playing around with it myself. I used to do laser scanning as well. We still do. We do laser scanning and LiDAR scanning. So all the photogrammetry. I love all the photogrammetry. It's just really cool. It's cool to be able to photograph something, use a piece of software and turn it into a 3D model. I think it's incredibly cool. Plus it saves a lot of time. So as far as pipeline goes, it can save you a lot of time. Android Lust says, I have a puny 970. Well, you may be able to play with a 970, but you'll have to knock back the details, that's all. There are going to be options in the game where you can set how high you want your textures. So you'd have to set your textures down to low. But you probably still could play it with a 970 because we're still doing optimization as we're making it, so. And the Steam store page isn't live yet. It's so the requirements might come down after we've finished doing some optimization on it. We're still making it though, so we're sort of like we're making it, we're optimizing it, we're concepting new locations for within the game, and so we're all going on at the same time. I've got a French composer composing the music for it. All different people working on all different things at the same time. The joys of working on a game. I said I'd never do it after I left, because I left games development to go and work in film. Then I left film to go and work in Arch Biz. When I left games, I said I swore I'd never get back into it again, but here we are. Smurfberry says partitioning is a Peter. Okay. Excalibur says, so the structure in the environment, you took the photos of it and you're using it to build a game asset. Are there any legalities to be aware of with that? No. This is a public, what you see here is a public structure in a public park in the city that I live in. There are no legal. Generally with photogrammetry you're okay, so long as you're not having a logo or anything. Like, don't do photogrammetry of a Coke can or a Coke bottle with a Coke logo. You'll get into trouble because Coca-Cola own the logo. But apart from that, you're pretty much you're okay because you're creating the model. You're not reproducing the original object. You're making a 3D model of a real object, so you're generally okay. But it's going to depend on where you live, I guess, and what the laws are where you live. But generally it should be alright, so long as there are no logos or anything being shown that are copyright. Android Lust says it's highly modified, but since it's a public structure, I don't think there's a problem with that. Also, I wouldn't know, so disregard what I said. It is a public structure. It's in a public park. And it's been modified from the original anyway. It's not anything like the original model, the original object, a real-life object, so. And there is a copyright law. I did look it up. It's freedom of... I can't remember. They gave it a specific name. But no, you should generally be okay, but it will depend on the country and the laws in the country you live in, I guess. Sniper Girl says, I know I have a 960. I know the feeling. Smurfberry says, I accept second-hand 960s. Android Lust says, I recently bought an i7 for the longest. I didn't plan on upgrading anything. Took me a long time. I was working with an i7 2600K, I think, for a very long time before I upgraded to the new machine, the new i7 Intel machine. Congrats on the upgrade though, Android Lust. It's always nice to get an upgrade. I see you guys were talking in the Discord about the new Threadrippers and things coming out from AMD, which is cool. All those cores, those multi-cores. We all love more cores. Excalibur says, like public domain minus copyright logos for the most part. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Excalibur. So as long as you steer clear of, as long as you stick to public domain and don't do any copyrighted logo work, show anything like that, then you should be fine. But yeah, logos particularly, don't do logos. So that is against copyright. Android Lust says an old i7 3770. I want two machines though. Threadripper. Everyone wants the Threadripper. And as you guys were talking in the chat, they're quite hard to get hold of at the moment. Was it the 3900X I think you were talking about? From memory. Anyway, let's add some more plants. More plants, I say. Let's have a look here. What do we got? I like the Azel Effects plants because they made some really nice series for view. If I don't make something myself in SpeedTree, I like to use their plants, their pre-made plants. Oh, wow, I can't pronounce. DB Ridgebergen? DB, I'll call you DB. Hopefully you know who I'm talking to. DB says, what if I make a picture of the Statue of Liberty and make it in 3D? Well, again, that's American. I'm Australian. I would assume you would still be okay. But because tourists can photograph the Statue of Liberty, you can buy the Statue of Liberty on postcards and statues of the Statue of Liberty. Again, I think anything like that should be fine. But again, I'm not a lawyer, but I think you should be fine, DB. Excalibur says, you mentioned it's been used in film, like in Avengers when they modelled downtown New York, for example. Sorry, I felt like I'm super distracting. That's all right. Sniper Girl says, you mean you're working? Does that mean we can't talk? We can't call you Phil Does Just Chat. That's right. So rude. Let me find a plant here. Green alder. Let's have a look at the green alder and see if we like it or not. I want to move this into the background. Behind our ivy we have got going on over here in the corner. I don't know if the alder is something I want because I want something that's going to be blocking out a bit more than this one does. The alder might be okay. We can put something behind it. So let's find something else as well. I want something that's a little bit more bushy. So let's see here. Ground cover. No, not ground cover. Jungle, rainforest, vegetation, shrubs. Android Lost says to DV, I think that would be fine, but doing an actual scan of it would be difficult. It's quite big yet. Smurfberry says government landmarks should be fine. Excalibur says no, because we Americans sue for every little thing. DV says true. Sniper Girl says right there. Android Lost says, isn't the Statue of Liberty a gift from the French? I think it is. Sniper Girl says to Android Lost, yeah, it was. We still file lawsuits for everything. You Americans love your lawsuits, don't you? I wonder if I should introduce any colour into this. No, I won't.
Okay, I'm just looking at what they use for the base species here. They're using the rural maple tree as the base. This might be interesting. Let's pull this one in. Again, what I'm doing here is I'm just filling up the background so that I can... I'm just filling up the background on the horizon line we see through the middle of the image here. I don't want to fill up the entire horizon line, but I just do want to sort of fill it up here and there. Just going to pull it back a bit. Okay. Let me just, I want to look at the image we rendered out last time so I can get an idea of what I want to do here. I want to keep the center of the render relatively free at the moment because we're going to be doing something with the background. So, Sniper Girl says, we like our big non-fuel efficient vehicles and our lawsuits and guns. So don't forget the guns, that's right. Excalibur says, literally sitting in my 11 MPEG Jeep as I write this. MPG Jeep. Sniper Girl says to Android, lots of guns, let's don't forget. DV says, I only know this tech from my study in civil engineering. Kind of cool to see you use it this way. Well, thank you, DV. I love the photogrammetry. Excalibur says to Android Lust, every American newborn is assigned an assault rifle at birth. So what else could we add here? So we've got these trees going on in the corner. I might just add something in front of the ivy here that we see. So what else have we got here that we can load up? This is one of the good things about Eon View, the fact that you can use these libraries of plants that to make your 3D scene if you want. You don't have to, like I said, the main tree you see here in the image, that was actually a speed tree that I brought in. Sometimes I like to use speed tree because I like their plants a little bit more than Eon's plants. But for just background stuff, Eon's plants usually are fine. What could be good for the background there? What about clouds? I'll show you what I'm going to do, Excalibur, in a minute. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to use a backdrop instead of actually adding clouds. I can add clouds if you want, but I think what we'll do is we'll add a backdrop instead. It'll look cool, trust me. Trust me. Excalibur says, or shrubbery against the fence line. I could do that. I could run shrubbery along the line here. And I may add some through bits and pieces here and here. But what we'll do is we'll wait till I get the backdrop in and then we can make those small adjustments. Sniper Girl says to Excalibur, might as well. I mean, we own more guns than there is people with the US. But at least Excalibur says, but at least we're imposing restrictions on vapes because those are dangerous. Sniper Girl says, I bet you people are against universal healthcare. Would be all free for universal guns at birth. What do I want back there? Do I want to go with a palm or do I want to go with something else? We could go with a palm. Or we could go with like this bushy thing. Let's go with a palm. Let's see what the palm looks like. We can always remove it and we'll swap it out with something else if we don't like it. So I'm just going to scale it up a bit though, because it's a little bit small. I want a good size palm. And I want to move it over. And I'm just going to give it a bit of rotation, see if I can find an angle I like the look of. Okay. Let's do a quick render. We've added a few different bits and pieces. And it gives me a chance to shut my mouth and have a coffee. I know this render on my stream might look small to you, but that is actually a 1920 by 1080 render that we're doing here. It only looks small because I'm using a 4K screen. I'm using 1920 by 1080 because if I usually when you work in View, you work on with a really small render to get things rendered out quickly for preview. But if I worked at my normal scale on a 4K screen, it would be about that big for you. So we are rendering at 1920 by 1080. When I do the final beauty render, I will render in 4K. Sniper Girl says that, hang on, let me catch up here. Excalibur says, I'm for universal photogrammetry software. This stuff sounds expensive. Sniper Girl says to Excalibur, vapes is still questionable, to be honest. I mean, there's only been a handful of deaths caused by that. The majority of those cases involve the ones with cannabis. She makes a very good point. Look, I'm not suggesting anyone should vape anyway. But if you're a smoker and you want to stop smoking, vaping is a very good way to do that. And Sniper Girl is correct. Most of the people that have died have been people that have been smoking cannabis or oils. They've been smoking oil. And oil is, I don't know why you would put oil in your lungs. That's just terrible. Or they've been smoking cannabis, like cannabis oil. Generally, vaping is not like that. Generally, with vaping, the flavourings don't contain oil. So bear that in mind. But having said that, I don't suggest you take up vaping if you're not a vapor, because why? Android Lost says software. Cookie, hi Cookie, it's good to see you. I didn't notice you popped in there and said hello. It's good to see you, Cookie. So is my audio okay? There's nothing going on, nothing wrong? I'm paranoid. You guys have made me paranoid about my audio now. Hopefully it's all good. You didn't tell me if you want me to up my volume level again though, because I'm still at -1 decibel. Normally I'm at 0 decibel. Sniper Girl says to Excalibur, more people still die from smoking than vaping, so even if a few deaths that happened with it was caused by vaping, still safer than the alternative. Should ban cigarettes if that's the case. That's true. Cigarettes are much worse for you, much more dangerous. Cookie says hi. Excalibur says, I just want to get high on life. That's what you get high on 3D or photogrammetry. That's what you get high on. Selfless One says it's good. It's good? Okay, cool. Thank you, Selfless One. Cookie says, gosh, why is the audio so weird? Is it weird? Cookie, are you being cheeky or is the audio weird? You're making me paranoid because the audio was bad at the beginning of my stream. Android Lost says to Sniper Girl, it's like 10 deaths versus 1,000 and everyone wants to be banned. Reality is probably the money. You're exactly right, Android Lost. Sniper Girl says, I'm all for that. I personally don't smoke or vape. Just honestly, if a person is an adult and understands the risks, then it's on them. I agree. DB says, yeah, weird. Someone is talking through the music. Why is it weird, DB? Excalibur says, this has gotten too political. I feel bad for bringing up the copyright law. Android Lost says to Excalibur, we get political, we do. We shouldn't, but we do. Sniper Girl says, don't feel bad. We tend to talk politics every now and then. Usually it's my fault for it. I'm steering clear of politics. For this stream, at least, I'm going to try. Smurfberry says, we could not inhale things that aren't air. How about that? Good point, Smurfberry. Look, I still believe if you're a smoker and you want to stop smoking, vaping is a much better alternative. Having said that, if you're not a smoker, I wouldn't suggest you take up vaping just for the fun of it. And yeah, the people that have had problems with vaping have been people that have been smoking cannabis or cannabis oil or oil, some sort of flavoured oil. If you're a vapor, don't use oils. Just use standard flavouring. Android Lust says, Excalibur says, then we would never smell barbecue. Android Lust says, yeah, it's generally Sniper Girl's fault 9 times out of 10. That's right. 10 times out of 10. Sniper Girl says, comes from being social political activists, tend to do a ton of research on politics in general. It's all Sniper Girl's fault. We all know it. So, Cookie, were you being cheeky, or is my audio okay, or does it sound weird? Somebody else chime in. Selfless One said it sounds fine. I'm assuming you got from you guys that it sounds fine. Unless I hear otherwise, I'm going to assume it's fine. I'll check the stream back after. I'll check the video back after the stream anyway. Cookie says, that's what... Oh, sorry, Cookie. You know I'm a bit thick. It takes me a while, Cookie. It takes Phil a long time, and he doesn't get jokes, and he doesn't read chat properly, and he can't say your usernames correctly. You know what I'm like. I'm glad the audio is good. Maximum cheek factor, Smurfberry says. Excalibur says, but hey, we were made in the same year, Sniper Girl, so I'm obliged to be on your side out of principle. I get a Cookie now, I understand. Yeah, my only question was, like I said, I've knocked the audio level back by minus 1 decibel, so I'm probably not as loud as I normally am. But that might be a good thing. Maybe I was too loud before. Sniper Girl says to Excalibur, my normal name was taken on Twitch, kind of came up with Sniper Girl in a few secs, was the first name that came to me. Isn't that always a problem? Like, say you want to open up a YouTube account or a Twitter account or Facebook or Twitch, and you've got a username and you can't use it because somebody else has got it. Particularly Twitch, because Twitch don't release usernames very often. They do it like every year or two, but not a lot, not regularly. So if there's a username that you want, even if the person hasn't used it for ages, you can't get it. It's always a bummer. Sniper Girl says, now use it on Twitch, Twitter, and also ArtStation. That's the lesson here, guys and girls. If you've got a username, if you come up with a username you really like, make sure you open an account on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. Even if you don't use the account, just so you lock that username in for yourself. Because there's nothing worse than not being able to use the username you want. Excalibur says, what is ArtStation? Seriously? Sniper Girl says ArtStation is a good site for showing your portfolio. It certainly is, and you can look at my ArtStation while this is rendering out. Let's have a look at my ArtStation, shall we? So if you go down here, my ArtStation is the first link, and it's just artstation.com, and it's a place where you can show up all your previous work for people to look at if you want. You can also link your ArtStation on the Phil Does 3D Discord server as well. Excalibur says, I'm not an artist. Oh, you're not an artist. Well, that explain. You don't have to be an artist to be on ArtStation, though. You can, I don't think. I think you can show any sort of work. Sniper Girl says it's free, can go pro, but not needed. Yep, I've got a free account. I'm not a pro member, so... ArtStation is life, as Android Lust says. Excalibur says, aside from photo and video. Sniper Girl says to Android Lust. That's it. Android Lust says, great for finding inspiration too. Very true. Pardon me. Excalibur says, holy freaking crap. Andrew Luss says, or a great way to become jealous. And Cookie says, you do such nice work. You do such nice work. Oh, thank you, Cookie. I'm glad you like my work. Excalibur says, that's a beautiful pulp. Oh, thank you, Excalibur. I'm glad you like my work as well. DV says, that's why my username is so difficult. Nobody takes it. Yeah, I'm trying to pronounce it. DV Ridgesbergen. DV Ridgesbergen. Is that correct? I'll call you DV. It's just easier for me. But is it DV Ridgesbergen? I'm probably completely wrong. I'm always wrong with your usernames. You guys know. So yeah, if you want to check out my ArtStation, you can look at it here. I'll just show one of these things and show you I've got the model shots and all that sort of thing. So there you go. This model is actually going into the game as well, by the way. I just thought I'd mention that. But there's a lot of great work on ArtStation. So there's something weird with this palm tree. I don't like that. I don't like the stalks of it, I think. It looks weird. So I think I'm going to remove the palm tree. I don't want the palm tree there. Nope, I've decided palm tree has to go. Let's pull in another plant in its place. Let's see what else I've got here. Gardens and forest plants. No, I don't like any of those. Incredibly lush. No, I don't want any of those. Realms art. No. Must be something here I can use. What's this one? The buckthorn. Let's see what the buckthorn looks like. It's more of a bush, which is probably better. Again, I'm just going to scale it up a little bit. I want it a bit bigger. Not quite that big. And it's a tree, but I'm actually going to use it as a bush, so I'm going to actually sink it into the ground. Just because it's a tree doesn't mean we can't use it as a bush. Let's have a look at that. Happy little bushes, as Cookie says, that's right. Happy little bushes. Excalibur says, are those based on photogrammetry or are those 3D models? They're 3D models, Excalibur, not based on photogrammetry. Excalibur says, do you also make the characters that will populate the game? And have you ever photogrammified a person? No, I have not done people. I will not. There will be no characters in the game. It's a single player mystery sort of game, so you won't be interacting with another character. You'll be exploring and trying to solve puzzles and do all that sort of stuff. I'm not a character artist, I'm an environment artist, really. So, DV says, you basically said Ricebergen, but whatever you call it, it's fine by me. I'll call you DV. DV is easier for me, DV. Excalibur says, Cookie, DV says, the big tree needs a little friend. I think you might be right. Excalibur says, your stream skips for a few seconds whenever you load a new texture or something. Must be the PC being loaded. No, this shouldn't, because they're two separate PCs. You should not be getting any skipping because I use a separate stream machine from my main machine here. It gets sent by the network. The image gets sent by the network using NDI. Should be no skipping. I think it might be your connection, Excalibur. Sniper Girl says, the cooking amazing job with the small sword. Oh, this Cookie posted something. I'll have to check it out. Because I always like to look at the work you guys are doing, and I always leave it till, that's nice wax kink as well. I always leave it till the end of the stream to check it all out. So we'll check out these two, the work from Wax Kink and from Cookie, in a minute. Cookie says, I almost want to try and photogrammetry someone's face from frames taken from a Twitch stream. Yeah, I don't know how that would work. I mean, generally people, when they do a Twitch stream, have a small camera in the corner like me. That's not going to give you great photogrammetry because it's quite small. Maybe if there's a streamer that goes full screen, you could try. Because you can use video to do photogrammetry. You don't have to use just photos. Video will work as well. Happy little tree, as Sniper Girl says to DV, yes, but it could be done. Sniper Girl says, yeah, probably could, would be hard. Yeah, it would be hard. I don't think you're going to get a great result either. Because I don't think the resolution will be high enough on a stream to actually get a good result using photogrammetry. Because generally, Twitch you can only stream in 1080p and you can't stream higher than 1080p, so a 1080p image is not going to give you great photogrammetry results, regardless. It's going to look pretty bad. But hey, for an experiment, you can give it a go. Selfless One says, on Sketchpad, people do a lot of movie photograms. Sniper Girl says, for photogrammetry of a person, the person has to remain still. That's true. Or you can use video of a person sort of doing this. You could do that as well. So you could video someone and then have the person just turn their head. You could probably get photogrammetry that way. But it's the best way is for them to sit still and have the camera move around them. Excalibur says, I'm watching from my phone on lunch. That may be why I'm getting skips. Yeah, there are no skips. I had problems with my mic, but I know that I'm using two separate systems, and I've never had problems that way. If I was just using the one computer, then you might be right. But there's two separate computers. One's a streaming computer, one's my main computer. So it should be no slowdowns from what I'm doing, which is why I have a separate streaming machine, just because I don't want it to slow down. That can always be a problem if you're streaming and using the same machine. Sniper Girl says, no, not just resolution. Person normally has to be still as well. Which is true. Yeah, normally the best way is to, any photogrammetry is to photograph a still object. That's why with trees, you can't doing photogrammetry of trees is not good because the wind is always making the leaves move, and that's going to cause a blur and a fuzz when it tries to do the calculation for photogrammetry. So generally doing tree leaves is never good either. Cookie says, so maybe if you use photo stacking to resolve higher detail, maybe? Sniper Girl says, yeah, that's true. Excalibur says, how long have you been streaming? A 2-system stream setup is usually a pretty advanced setup for a hardcore streamer. I've been streaming, how long have I been streaming, guys? Would it be 2.5 years, maybe? About that? I wasn't always using two machines. I've been using two machines for maybe about a year and a half, but I think I've been streaming for about 2.5 years or so. I think. Something like that. I do it because I have my spare machine here. When I upgraded that machine to a new machine, I might as well use it because it was there, you know what I mean? And I also use it to network rendering from a render farm if I'm doing some of my own rendering stuff at home. So I would never suggest people go out and buy a separate machine to stream unless they really want to. I just had a spare machine, so. DV Denise says render skips the little spire at the top of the structure for a few seconds. Yeah, what it's doing is it's rendering out in rows, and if it hits an area that's a little bit more complicated or detailed, then it doesn't skip it. It stays on that while the rest of it keeps going, and then once it finishes that, it's ready. So you'll see that's why it doesn't always see here. It sort of hit one before it finished these, because this is a bit more complicated. Might be harder to see on stream that's what's going on, but yeah. So the more complicated the calculation in the area that it's rendering will slow that bit down, but the rest of it will keep going with the other cores. So Sniper Girl says, no, since Noah got off the ark. Oh, you'll get a slap, Sniper Girl. I'll give you a full slap. Yeah, about 2 years. That's what I thought about. Yeah, a couple of years. A rendering farm. Yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3 machines that I pull in on my small render farm at home. If I need to do stuff for work, and because I work from home as well a lot of the time, then I can VPN into the main server at work, and I can use the rendering setup there to do remote rendering. So just depends on what I'm rendering, whether I'm doing my own personal stuff or stuff for work. Android Lust says to Cookie, the sword texture is nice. Cookie says thanks, I'm quite happy with it. Excalibur says, so the rendering is hitting the objects from every angle, not just the window we see, right? It's shooting rays at everything, yeah. So what it's doing is it shoots rays at the object and waits for those rays to bounce back. But then it only considers the rays that bounce back within the window that the camera is looking at, so within the camera lens. But it is shooting rays out in all different directions inside the environment. But it's only showing us the rays that hit the camera lens. That's what we see in the image. So, but you are right. It is rays are hitting the object from every angle inside the program. Mods can slap back. I know they can slap back, Sniper Girl. We'll get into a slap wall. Selfless One says, I just published a new project on ArtStation, not your caliber of art, but every day I'm learning new techniques. I like looking at all sorts of art, and everyone has different, is at different levels within their art skills. So I want to look at everything. It doesn't have to be great. I want to look at everyone's work. Everyone's work is great in its own way, and it's good to strive for great work, but it takes time, and not everyone's work is good. Not all my work is good, that's for sure. The guys will tell you. I've made some crap. Not that I'm saying your stuff is crap, and I would like to see it, Selfless One. So if you post, you should jump on the Phil Does 3D Discord server, post a link to your ArtStation, and we can check it out. If you don't feel comfortable, that's fine, but I'd like to look at it. And as long as you're learning, that's what's important. Android Lust says, checking it out now. So you have posted on us your link to ArtStation, Selfless One? Excalibur says, what CPU do you have? I have an i7 8700, Intel i7 8700, and 32 gigs of RAM, and an RTX 2080. Sniper Girl says, Slap 4 sounds like fun. Excalibur says, but that render is coming from the GPU, not the RAM. Right? No, this render is coming from the RAM, not from the GPU. So yeah, nope, RAM, not GPU for this one. I just want another plant just in front of this one. I'd really like to get the background in before we finish the stream today. And I also want to look at the work you guys are doing. So I'm just going to add another plant quickly, and we're going to go back down to the bushes. And I think I'll know it when I see it. No, I don't want any trees. I think, yeah, let's go with this one. Just going to pull it out and zoom in, and I'm going to scale it up. And now I just need to put it into the right spot. I'm looking in my viewport over here while I'm moving it around, in case you're wondering what's going on. Let me do that again. I think I may have non-uniformly scaled this, so I'm just going to delete that and re-add it again. Maybe not. Maybe I'll choose something else. No, I don't want a palm tree. Let's go with... Let's go with this. This is an interesting looking flower, interesting looking leaf. So I'm just going to pull this one into the foreground a bit more. I'm going to scale it up a little bit. Again, I'm looking in my viewport over here while I move it up here, just so I can get the positioning correct. I'm going to duplicate this or copy and paste it because I want a few different versions of this just to make it nice and thick. Again, I'm just going to rotate a little bit so we don't notice that it's we're reusing the same mesh. And I might scale this one up a little bit more so the height is just a little bit different as well. Again, I'm just going to duplicate it one more time. And we'll move it around about here. We'll rotate it like that. And we'll scale this one down a little bit. Just so we have a little grouping of plants there in the corner. Let's have a look at that. Just before I do a render, I'm just going to do a save. And now we can do a render. Did you give me a slap, Sniper Girl? See, I was too engrossed in what I was doing. I didn't notice that she slapped me. I'll slap her back. DV says that actually worked. Yeah, if you're a sub to my channel, you can actually set, well, I call them live pop-ups. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 or 9 of them that you can set off on stream while I'm streaming. So I'll show a couple of them. You've seen the furl slap. There's a stink eye one here that you can set off. There's a raspberry one. There's an oops one. There's a wrecked one. And just a hay fill one to get my attention. And the mods can set those off as well, or if you're a subscriber you can set them off as well. Why wasn't it working? Sniper Girl says to DB, helps when you don't typo the command. That's right, it does help. Cookie says, oh, so many happy brushes to choose from. I know, we're spoiled for choice, Cookie. Excalibur says, how much does the View software cost again? You can rent it monthly. I believe the cheapest is about $19 a month. Don't hold me to that, but I think that's correct. So you don't have to buy it, you can lease it like Adobe software, and I believe it's about $19 a month for the artist version. It goes up from there depending on what version of the software you want to use. But the artist version I think is $19 a month. Sniper Echo, all to you too. It's good to see you, Sniper. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good weekend, buddy. How's everyone going? I'm going really well. Again, you're lucky you missed the first hour of the stream because my USB port was malfunctioning on my computer and my audio sounded terrible. Thankfully, the guys and girls told me about it. Sniper Girl says, I must hit like a girl if you didn't feel it. Android, I wasn't paying attention. Android Love says, all late, how's it go? How goes it? Snow Cookie says hi. Sniper Girl says hi. Excalibur says to Sniper Girl, you hit like a sniper, that's why he didn't notice. Sniper Girl says, still going to show people's work at the end of the... Yes, I am. This is going to be the last render. I was going to do one more render and then I'm going to show people's work because we're going to be finishing the stream soon. I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow. I've got to decide. I've got a meeting I've got to go in for. That's what that phone message was that I went to look at before. So I don't know if I'm going to be streaming tomorrow, and I'd like to show you guys because I'd like to start working back on the game next week, the UE4 game. I want to finish this project all. So this is why I'm sort of pushing through here today to try and get it done so that next week when I come back we can jump straight into the House on the Hollow game. But then I still want to do colour correction, and I like to show you guys when I do colour correction in Photoshop for these images. Oh, I don't know. We'll see how we go next week. I don't know. Am I going to be streaming tomorrow? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so. Anyway, we will look at people's work. Thank you for reminding me, and we're going to do it in 2 seconds. Android Love says they better serve breakfast at that meeting. I know. Well, I stream, you guys know, every Monday and Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the US is when I stream. My schedule never changes unless I get sent away for work or unless I got to go into a meeting or something. But and the meeting tomorrow is nice and early. And they're actually back-to-back meetings. I've got a meeting with one group of people and then another meeting straight after that with another group of people. So I'm going to be in meetings from like 9 a.m. until about 1 p.m. That's generally when I stream. My time I stream between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. So that will be why I can't stream tomorrow. But I will be streaming again next week, Mondays and Tuesday. After today, next week at Monday will be my next live stream. The stream will go live on Friday and Saturday, but that's a repeat. It'll go live on Friday. There won't be one on Saturday because I'm not streaming tomorrow. But they're repeats of Mondays and Tuesday's stream. So don't get confused. If you see the stream go live on Friday, it's a repeat of today's stream. Yeah. In fact, I'm just going to stop this. I want to pull in a background. I want to show you what this is going to look like with in a little bit better detail. And then next week, what we'll do is we'll start the stream with some color correction, and then I will jump into working in UE4. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull a background in. So I'm going to choose the main camera. Excalibur says, are your meetings for the game? Do they use a Scrum approach? Yes, we do use a Scrum approach. One of the meetings is not for the game, it's for the ArchViz stuff, and the other meeting is for the game. So, yeah, that's why they're back to back. One is one studio and another is another studio, because I'm working with 2 studios at the moment. There's the studio I work with every day, which is the main ArchViz studio, and I'm also working with another studio now to make the game. So we're going to pull in a backdrop. I'm going to use backdrop, and I'm going to load up an image I've already chosen. This one here. Okay, and now I'm going to do a render so you guys can get an idea of what the final image is going to look like. I still have to do color correction. I still have to make sure to maybe do a couple of adjustments to the lighting. This will give you an idea though. And next week when I come back on Monday, we'll start with this scene. Any little tweaks I have to do in Photoshop for color correction, because I always do color correction. I never take the image directly that's rendered in View and use it. So we'll jump into Photoshop so we can do some color correction, and then we're going to jump into the House on the Hollow game using UE4. Because the plan is is to start working on the House on the Hollow stuff live on Twitch in October, because the game is going to be released in October next year. So we wanted to start the live streams in October, and then the game will be released in October next year, around Halloween time. That's the plan anyway. Best laid plans, as they say. But yes, we do use Scrum approach. Scrum. Excalibur says, is this game on Steam yet? If we wanted to add it to our wish list or keep an eye on it, it's not on Steam yet. We have the store page set up on Steam, but we haven't pushed it live yet. That'll happen in the next month or so. It'll go live as a coming soon on Steam, and then you'll be able to add it to your wish list, but not just yet. It's almost ready. The store page is, like I said, set up. The community section is set up as well, but not quite live just yet, but it will be soon. Yes, and when it goes live, you can add it to your there's something I forgot here. I just want to again stop this for a minute. I want to remove the ground plane, so we have a ground plane in the image here. We don't need that, so I'm going to delete it. Let me just re-render that. So yes, soon. It'll be on Steam soon. Coming soon, so you can wish list it. I don't think we're doing a pre-release or whatever they call it. You know how sometimes when people make games on Steam, they'll early access. I think they call it on Steam. I don't think we're doing early access. I don't think. Again, that could be part of the meeting tomorrow with the guys, that we can talk about whether we'll allow early access or not. You guys know what early access means. Excalibur says, how many games have you worked on? What did you do with them before photogrammetry? I've worked on 3 games. The last AAA game I worked on was for Warner Brothers Studios, and it was like one of the Looney Tunes games. I've also worked on a Mad Max game, but the last AAA title was for Warner Brothers, one of the Looney Tunes games. I've also done work for Fox Studios, a game for Fox Studios as well. And we're running a little over today, but that's okay because I won't be streaming tomorrow, so we can go a little bit longer. And because I want to show the work that you guys have done, and check out the ArtStation as well. So yes, what I'm doing here is I'm rendering it out, showing you the background will render last. So it does its pre-pass here. Once the pre-pass is finished, then it will start rendering out the main image, and that's when you'll see the background show up. For this render I'm doing is the beauty shot for the model that I'm selling on my 3D store on the Creative Market and my website. And I wanted an image, a beauty image that was a bit different from the other beauty images I've done in the past. Normally I put these types of models in formal garden settings, like with trees and flowers and hedges and all that sort of stuff. For this one I wanted it to be a bit different, so I've chosen a background plate that is different from the other images I normally do, just because I wanted something a bit more unique. It's getting there. But once the background plate renders in, it will give you a better idea of what the final image here is going to look like. Once we've done color correction next week, when I come back, we'll do just some quick color correction in Photoshop to get everything looking correct. So it won't be looking absolutely correct here in this image renders that you're seeing at the moment, but we'll fix that in Photoshop next week when we do our color correction. Now, when I bring this model into the Unreal Engine, into UE4, it's going to have a fountain in the middle. So in the middle here, there's going to be a fountain, and around the outside here, underneath of these decorative things, there's going to be flames. But that's only going to be in the version of the game. I'm not going to do that for the version I sell because that's more of a gamey thing than people want to buy the model for their render thing. Excalibur says, what's the average turnaround time for a game to be developed in your experience? It really depends on the type of game that you're making, the platform that you're doing it for, or how many platforms you're doing it for, and the scope of the game. If it's a AAA game, generally they take a couple of years. If it's just a smaller game and there's a group of you working on it, or for instance, the game that I'm working on now with the studio is going to take, it's about a year and a half. So that's why it's not going to be released until October next year. So yeah, it really depends on the type of game, the scope of the game, how many platforms you're releasing the game on, all that sort of thing. But anywhere from 1 to 2 years. Some games can take 3 or 4 years, just depending. DB says, depends on if it's Star Citizen or not. Well, that's still not ready, is it? That game is still not ready. And after all that money that they pumped into it as well, I mean, man, so much money has been spent on that game. Wow. Android Lost says, haha. Sniper Girl says, do you guys need a 3D artist on the game project? Not at the moment. We've pretty much got everything set, I think, as to what we need for the game art. Again, I'll find out when we're having a meeting tomorrow. We'll discuss all that sort of stuff tomorrow during the meeting. I don't think there's really anything that needs to be created, though. I think most of the artwork is created. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, there might be a couple of buildings, a couple of rooms in the buildings. I'm not sure. I'll work all that out tomorrow with the guys when we're going for the meeting. Cookie says, or H1, Sniper Girl says, Star Citizen is still hiring 3D artists. That game's never going to be finished. I'm not surprised they have a lot of positions, Sniper Girl. That does not surprise me at all. Star Citizen, how long has that been in the making? How much money have they burned through? I mean, it'd be great if they could pull it off, but wow, they're taking a long time. Android Lost says, I've forgotten about Star Citizen, to be honest. Cookie says, Half-Life 3. Yes, Half-Life 3. Sniper Girl says, it's the only company that I would touch with a 10-foot pole. Wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Wise. Don't go and work for them. I've not heard good things about people that have worked for them. Sniper Girl says, I look at the listings and I'm like, nope. Sounds very wise and smart, Sniper Girl. I would do a nope, a big bet. I would avoid at all costs as well, if I was you. So what we've got here is the background plate is this mansion building. The reason I chose the mansion was because it blends in colour-wise with the actual model that we've got going on. So the colour in the building blends nicely with the colour on the actual model. Pardon me. So they blend together quite well. And it's something different. It's not a garden background, it's a building background. DV says, in their defence, they started from scratch at some point to fulfil the requests from the backers. Okay, well that's true. So there we have our image as to how it's going to look once I do some colour correction. But that's the gist of what we're going to call our image. Next week when I come back, I'm going to take this into Photoshop and we're going to do some color correction on just a couple of bits and pieces, make sure everything blends together really pretty, and then we're going to jump into working in UE4. Sniper Girl says the only other company I'd avoid is Crytek. Crytek as well. I wouldn't work for EA either, but anyway. They've gotten in trouble a year ago for hiring people, relocating them, and they're not paying staff that they hire. Some of them went months without pay. Don't work for anyone without pay, guys and girls. It's just not good and not worth it. You make sure you get paid for your work. If they're not paying you, don't work for that company or that studio. Months without pay, ouch. That's right. DB says, I see a lion unicorn. Okay, let's have a quick look at some of the work that people have posted in the gallery, and we're going to start with Wax Kink's work. So I'm just going to post in the images because Wax Kink has been working on this cool looking car. VW Beetle, I should say, isn't it? Well, a Beetle's a car. I was correct. I won't go through all the images. I also want to look at the katana that Cookie posted. Let's have a look here at the Beetle first. Blah, 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 blah. Very nice. I love the texturing work. Nicely textured. Yes, very nice. Nice and dirty. Because we don't want things to look too clean. When they're too clean, they're too perfect and they don't look real. If we want them to look real, we have to dirty them up. But that's very nice work by Wax Kink. Very nice work indeed. And then we have the katana, isn't it? From Cookie. Nice. Again, beautiful texturing work. Love it. Nice nice detailing as well. Lovely model, lovely texturing, great detailing. Beautiful work, Cookie, really nice. Now, there was that art station I wanted to check too, but I'm not sure if you wanted me to look at it or not. Who was it that posted the link to their art station? Was that you, Selfless One? Not sure. I don't see where would you have put your art station link, or hadn't you popped it in? Oh, you Selfless One. It was your art station, wasn't it? It was Selfless. I'll check it out. If you want to show the gun that I'm working on, just do the last image. Yep, Scott on Discord. Yep, I'm just going to check it out right now, and I'll look at your gun, the last image of your gun in a sec, Sniper Girl. This is Selfless One's art station. Nice. Let's have a look. That's a nice environment. I like that. Very nice. I love these overgrown jungly environments. This is the sort of stuff I like to make as well. That looks really cool. What is this done in? Selfless One, Scott? Is this in a game engine? And if so, what engine? UE4. Okay, cool. Nice. I like the path as well. That looks really cool. I love the overgrown tree roots along on the temple as well. Looks really cool. Nice. Your lighting is nice as well. You put a bit of work into this, so that would have taken you quite a while to actually set all this up. So you've done a really good job. Just going through them a bit more quickly than I normally would, just because we do want to finish the stream off soon. It's a decent sized environment. Nice. Like your texturing work as well. Very nice there. DB says nice setting. It is a nice setting. Cookie says, is that one big level? Geez, I know, it's huge. This is the 7th version in 4 years, Selfless One says. That's a lovely model as well. Very nice. Again, I like the texture. Yeah, it's lovely. Nice job. I'm assuming you've got a 360 here. Very nice. Yes, lovely work. Again, I'm not going to go through all of these simply because we're running short on time now, but oh, that's lovely. I love that. Love that. That's really nice. I love this sort of thing. I love wrought iron. I love the texturing too. I love the colour. Beautiful. Really nice. Yeah, that's really nice. I love that. That's amazing. Amazing. I love it. Love it. Yeah, beautiful work. Beautiful. Yeah, really nice. I could not have done a better job myself. That looks amazing. I love it. Android Love says, I was wondering how long that took. DV says, wow, I wouldn't want to pass through that door. I love the design. I love the colour as well, and the model. It's beautiful. Beautiful work. It's interesting. Again, nice render. You got your HDRI going on in the background. Very nice. And some columns, which are nice. Again, lovely texturing work. We may stop looking at the work here just because I really do want to finish off the stream, and I want to check out Sniper Girl's gun as well. Nice. That's a delivery. Just a sec, guys. Hello? I'll be right down. I've got to go, guys. I've got a delivery I've got to go and sign for. I do want to thank you guys very much for hanging out and watching. I won't be streaming tomorrow. I'll be back on Monday next week. You guys have a great weekend and take care. I'll see you guys then. See you guys.